Feather Hunting Videos presents Whitetail High, featuring Noel Feather and Dan Fitzgerald. Dan, just out of the hospital with pneumonia, thought he and Noel might try their luck at bringing in one of the bucks that Dan had seen in his earlier scouting. The temperature was just above zero. The trees were cracking as they swayed in the wind. Nevertheless, Dan was willing to give it a shot.
It's only 10 degrees. This wind is really knocking it down too. Those deer are gonna go out that field to feed tonight.
You ain't gonna believe it, man.
I believe it. I seen it.
You saw it, eh?
Man, you put that sucker down. He went down like...
Did he go down?
He went down like a ton of brick, didn't he?
Man, that was nice.
That's a nice little buck.
Man, you believe that? That's starting to happen all the time.
You put that dude right down. Fine, man. Gee, crap. Look at that. That's a nice buck. I ain't that big, but he's nice. What, he's getting one off? He's got one broke off. Something.
He's a 3-pointer. Is that the way to do it?
That's the way to do it.
There ain't no tracking there. Man,
love it. For sure.
Well,
couldn't have been better, could it?
no. Now comes the maintenance.
A few days later, with the temperature up a little, Noel decided to try his luck running. The rut is over in this area, but the bucks could still be vulnerable. With the ability to see a great distance in this woods, the grunts are kept somewhat loud to reach out for a distance. After grunting for several minutes, Noel decides to incorporate some rattling. First, looking around to be sure there are no deer in sight. When rattling in an open woods such as this, you must constantly be searching for deer activity.
It's awful windy. Probably ain't gonna hear them horns too far today. Now this wind blowing like this. I seen a buck move at about 100 yards right over in there.
Apparently, this young buck did not breed a doe during the rut. The main thing to do in an open situation is to get fairly high in your tree stand. It is also a plus to know where the deer normally travel, such as Dan does in this area, as he spends much time scouting. patience plays an important part after spotting deer movement.
What do you think? You think you got some pretty good footage of him?
Oh, I got the arrow hitting him. Did you get the arrow hitting him, Tom?
Mm-hmm.
I hit him too high.
Yeah, you were angling down pretty good, though.
There was a branch that come down just like that, right in line with that deer, and I was having to get up like that in order to get my height, and I hit him a little higher than I wanted to. But I think that it was at the angle, I should have got the lungs anyway.
On the other side,
On the opposite side.
Well,
I shot the deer on his left side, and it looked to me like the where it would have come out would have been right in the lungs. If, you know, everything was what it looked like it
you
is.
were right on line, though, right and left?
Oh, yeah, I think left and right
Okay,
was
you
good.
probably got a lung. Well, don't know.
Well, let's see if we can pick up the blood. He shouldn't go too far if we got lungs.
Which way did he go from here?
Well, he went, he's been going back this way.
High in the back like that, he might not even bleed.
Okay. If we got the lung, he's got to bleed some. Of course, he might not be bleeding. He might be bleeding internally.
Well, let's go where you saw him last. Where'd you see him last?
Well, right over in here is where I shot him. Here's blood right here. Good red blood.
Yeah, that's the kind of blood we're looking for.
Hey,
Yeah, he's bleeding.
there's the bubbles in this. See that frothy look right there? I believe I got a lung. If not two, I got one.
There's more, Richie.
Here.
Oh, he's starting to bleed.
He's not bleeding well like he should. Here we go.
You might have just clipped the lung.
Oh boy, look here. Look here. He's starting to pick up. See here?
That's really red.
He's picking up. I lost it again.
And that's red. That's good blood.
And it's right there. Here's blood here. Right there.
Oh, yeah.
Here's blood here on this stick. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Blood on the snow right here. This looks like where he stood or laid.
Yeah, he laid. See how he rubbed that snow off of that log?
Looks like he laid down right there.
Yeah, he laid down there.
Okay, let's see.
There goes blood.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
There's some.
Here we go. There's some. There's some.
You got blood?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
there he is.
Oh, there he is. Very clean.
There he is. Looks like the guy in the
Guy running.
Hard to say though, he laid down back there. I doubt if he did. He just run out of gas.
You shot him on which side?
I shot him on his left. Here's where it came out, right there. Right there.
Yeah.
The other side. When I put a hole in, I'll say that.
That's where it went in or came out?
That's where it came out. He's a nice little buck. You know, he's got 3 points.
He
That's
tried to
about
be a
the third.
four-pointer.
That's about the third 3-point buck that we've killed this year. You know that?
Yeah.
That's about the third 3-pointer. That must be real
He's
common.
a beautiful deer.
Got a nice
Boy, look at that. Pretty face.
Nice little buck.
deer.
He's good eating on that dude.
Yes, sir. Well,
Let's get him out
it's over.
for today. Let's
He's
go.
a nice one.
Let's see if we can get the truck in here. Get him out.
Okay.
I about had it. I don't know about you.
I'm tired.
Let's go, Tommy.
Just break those off like that. Put that in there. This is what you got to do when you want to do a video and you got pneumonia. Ain't this some deal?
What, Dr. Welby?
You hear me whistling when I'm breathing? In 1 hour, I'll be all right. I'll be ready to go back out in the cold tomorrow.
After using his nebulizer and filling his lungs with medication, Dan is ready to give it another go. But for some reason, it seems to be the coldest when it's Dan's turn.
Is it cold? Yeah.
I got him.
I thought it looked like you hit him pretty good. What?
I think I got him a little bit high, up in a little above the lung, in the back of the shoulder. But I was angling down, so I got him.
It looked to me like that he dropped his back just a little bit,
He did.
just as you shot.
He did. And I had to shoot through all that all that brush through there. There was a lot of stuff I had to shoot through, but
You didn't see him go down though. From
no,
where I was at,
but I'll tell you what,
I couldn't see him go down.
I believe he's dead.
If he was angling.
There's blood right there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think he's down. He acted like he was going
Let's
to
go on in a little closer. See what we can pick up. Here's tracks right here in the snow.
Yeah, that's
Looks
where
like he went down this run.
this is where he went, right down through here.
Yeah, here's tracks, Tom, right here in the run. Trouble is, we're getting into tracks before we walk in. There's your deer.
There he is.
There he is, baby.
Oh, man. That arrow went right through him.
It did a number on him, I'll say that.
You know what it did?
Geez, he grabbed me.
Went right down through his
Neck. It put a hole in that sucker.
Yep.
Was he almost broadside when you shot him?
Well, he was kind of.
It looked to me like
I can't remember
it looked to
for
me
sure.
like he was almost broadside.
I know the arrow went right through his shoulder.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. That's a heck of a hole. Them big old broadheads do a number, huh? He's a nice.
Man, he's a pretty deer.
He's a nice little buck. He'll look good in the video. You think you got some good footage of him, Tom?
Oh yeah, he looked real nice.
You see that arrow go through him?
Yep.
I bet you can see that arrow stick in the ground, skip off the
You
ground.
seen the arrow go through him, huh?
Went right through his shoulders.
Yeah.
All right.
You was a little bit high, but
Is that worth the cold?
maybe the angle.
Who's buying coffee?
I'm drinking, I know that.
Man, I'm ready. Let's get the tag on him.
Let's go get the truck, and I think we can get pretty close.
After moving to a new location, expecting to find it a little warmer, Dan and Noel were surprised to find it much the same weather as before.
I knew you'd like those steps that far apart.
Not bad.
Good. Good.
Okay.
Although it doesn't always work, Noel doesn't feel he has hunted if he hasn't grunted or rattled or both. With the rifle season having been over for some time, a buck is more likely to respond to a grunt. There are many days spent in the stand when you go home with only some chills and shakes. Fortunately, that's not the case on this day. Then getting up early and going out to a cold stand will be worth it.
Want to grab your grunt call there, Noel?
Although Noel's grunting might have lured the buck in, the sound of hounds in the distance gave Dan cause to believe this buck might have been pushed out of a nearby swamp.
Sir.
Notice the buck urinating as in a nervous condition.
Hold on.
Noel figured some grunts would calm the buck down since it is a form of vocalization.
Man, did you do it?
What do you think of that, guy?
Buddy, I tell you.
Don't step on my arrow. You're almost to it. Went completely through him, man. Did you see the way that buck was standing?
Yeah, I saw the way he was standing. I was on him all the time.
What a perfect, just barely angling away.
You get it all the time?
Perfect angle.
Hey, you know, he stood over there for longer than I had anticipated, and it was too much pressure to change tapes.
What, you mean you ran out of tape?
As he was running away,
You mean you didn't get the kill?
I got the shot.
I was on him. I got him going down. I was on
Man,
him.
I hope somebody got him going
Oh,
down.
I was on him. When he went over that hill, I got him coming down the bottom of that hill. I got him.
Good.
You mean you didn't get the hit?
I got the hit.
Oh,
the
you
hit
got the
looks
hit.
nice, yeah.
Hey, guys, this makes 11 days.
Oh, about time something came together.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, I got him, when he came around that hill, I got him coming around that hill, and I got him going down. Did you get the hit?
I got the hit.
It's the first decent footage we've got in 11 days of hunting.
Man, I'll tell you, I hope you got that hit.
What do you think, Tom?
I got the hit. It was on, you know,
But did you get him going down?
What, you mean he came in and he was too close for you to change tapes?
oh yeah, definitely. He was only not even probably 35 yards.
Well, I know I got him going down. I know I got that, and I got a lot of footage of him coming down through the woods. You get footage of him coming down through the woods?
I hope we got some good stuff. Well,
All I know I got for sure is when he come around that hill and went down in there and dropped.
let's go over and see what he looks like. I think he's a perfect 8-pointer.
Boy, I'll tell you what, he's a beautiful deer. He's a big one.
He's a nice buck.
He's a good buck, man.
He's a nice buck. It's about time we had some luck.
Well, I saw when you drew, but from where I was positioned over there, I couldn't get the hit at all. I figured that if any deer was going to come, they were going to come back on the backside of this tree. I just, you know, I always worry. Did you get the hit until
I know
I
what
see
you
it?
mean. I know what you
I know if you say you got it, you got it. But I'm always worried till I see it on a monitor.
There's always something that can go wrong.
I'll tell you what, it's about time something went right, hey?
Drink for that.
It ain't all easy.
Well, I sure like those new tree steps.
Me too.
You know, they say they're going to outlaw them babies everywhere, though. Almost every state's going to outlaw tree steps. Pennsylvania and Georgia's already done it.
Boy, that's a beautiful buck.
He is a dandy.
He's a nice one, man.
He is a good one.
Boy, he's a healthy thing. Well, I know he's down. There ain't no doubt about that. I saw him go down.
That's the best kind.
Yes, sir.
Looked to me like it was perfect.
Good.
Looked like it was perfect.
Hey, you know, I was on like halfway wide angle, halfway zoom, so that should look nice. I had both Noel and a deer in there.
You did?
Yep.
You kidding?
Nope.
Man, that's great.
Yeah, here it is.
All right. See the blood right there? I
Yeah,
told you I
blood.
saw him start bleeding.
Blood right away.
I couldn't see from where I was.
No,
I couldn't see the hit.
It went through him just like it was hot butter, man. I'll tell you, it went through him. Didn't even slow down. I don't see, here's blood right here. We won't have any trouble following him. We seen him go down anyway. So I just kind of wanted to see how much he bled. Well, he's not bleeding as much as I thought he would. You know, he's not bleeding as much.
He was bleeding good. I saw it. That's the one thing I could see is blood.
So quick. I saw blood right away when the arrow went through him.
Right here's where I could pick him up on the camera. Right going down through here.
Dan and Noel always like to follow the blood trail to pick up on the educational
On the
aspects.
downside of this little ridge right here.
Yeah, he's just laying right over here. Let's just go off.
Yeah, I got him when he came down around here. I got him going down.
Yeah, there he lays. Just going down here where he's at. I seen him go down. I hope Tom didn't run out of film because he should have had every bit of that real good.
He said he ran out just as he ran away.
If we got that there.
There he is.
Look at the bubbles coming out of that dude.
Yes, sir. Boy, he's fat.
Woo. Okay, now that'd be the X-zone. That'd be the, look there, he went right underneath that vine.
Yeah.
This would be where the arrow came out of him, Dan.
You shot him from the other side.
Yeah, I shot him on his right side. And that's where it came out.
You got a lung.
Oh, yeah.
All those bubbles
See the
coming out of there.
Oh.
You think that vine stopped him here? Man, he's a nice buck. Big, nice big deer.
Yeah, he is nice, but you get even brown tine broke there a little bit.
He's a good one.
He'd go 180, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Well, is it worth spending all the time?
It's always worth it when you get him.
When you get
when you get him, but them 11 days without any footage, man, I begin to wonder.
Oh, that's the way it always is. If you don't get the kill, then it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you, that was good.
Well,
see, from the ridge, you see the ridge there, Tom? I could only get when he came around down through around like this. He made a half circle, didn't he?
that's why it pays to have 2 cameras, because if he did run out of footage or film, you know, and didn't get the footage, well, then you got a backup, which, man, I tell you, it takes too long to get this stuff not to get it on film once it happens.
Well, he's dead. That's the main thing. As long as you got the arrow hitting him.
Yeah, if it all comes out good, why, we got us a good one.
Well, this is getting to be something regular.
Let's get him out of here.
All right.
I could use a hot...
See that?
Look at that. What do you think got a hold of it?
I'm gonna tell you something. Right there is the reason that I believe in shooting some does and some small bucks. That was a real small deer. Something got it and it wasn't us. And we don't have it on video. That's bad.
That is. That's gross.
Well, that's why I say, you know, you can be an anti-hunter all day long, and you walk around the woods and you're going to find all these dead carcasses in these swamps like this. Nobody's going to get the benefit out of them. The last day.
Although it's cold and somewhat windy, it's the last chance for Dan in this state. So guess what? More suffering from cold hands and feet. Dan gives his equipment a final check, just in case an opportunity should be presented. Dan starts his grunts much softer, as you will notice. It is somewhat dense cover in this area, making it possible for a buck to be close by. Dan always glasses the area, looking for the slightest movement or detail of deer. Many times the deer are still out in the green fields at this time of day. Dan capitalizes on the possibility as much as possible. Believe it or not, Dan does have a serious side. It is very unusual for Dan to let the first deer get by, but he opted for the second, being a buck.
I got every bit of it on film, baby.
Did you?
Looked like you hit him pretty good.
I tried to spine shoot him and stop him. He was going through here pretty fast.
Man, he was on that little doe's tail,
He
wasn't
was
he?
right on that doe.
Did you get it, Tom?
Oh, yeah.
What did it look like to you?
You can see that arrow on both sides of the deer after you shoot.
I couldn't see
I
the
tried
arrow.
to-
I couldn't see it where it come out, but I could see. Looked like you hit him pretty hard.
I tried to shoot him right in the top of the back. I don't know. 5 hours? I'm ready. This is unreal. Look
Let's
at
go.
that! Look at that blood behind you.
Take your stand down. Let's go on over there and see if we can find him, and then move over to the other place for later on this afternoon. Look good.
I'm ready to go have lunch. He left the blood trail. I'll tell you that much. You got blood?
Find him over on the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost knocked him down.
Yeah, over here is where he crossed.
Yep.
He's got pretty good blood there, man. Goes right up through here. Look on the side of that tree right there. See the blood on, see all the blood on the tree where he went by the tree? Through here.
I didn't have a chance to even think, man. He just come working through there.
Nah. We ain't gonna have no trouble finding that one. Good deal, guy. Little chilly up first morning, wasn't it?
I'll tell you what, I was glad to see you come over here. I was going to see who was the toughest today, who could stay the longest.
Well, I was about ready to leave. You hadn't shot him. I was going to say, let's do it. I'm beginning to think you're never going to get a shot at him.
Right here is where he went across. He was really spraying there.
Yeah.
He was booking.
He, look at this trail. He ain't going to go too far. You see on these trees here where he likes those trees he went right?
Oh, yeah. You see the arrow come out the other side of him, Tom?
Yeah, you can see it sticking out both sides.
It shouldn't be. He shouldn't go too far.
He's sure spraying blood.
Here he is.
I thought you said here he is from here.
No, he didn't go that. He was further than that, I think.
Oh, yeah, he's bleeding good.
What was he, a crack horn or what?
No, I think he was a spike horn.
I couldn't tell for sure. I could see long spikes on each side, but I couldn't tell if there was anything coming off of it. There you go.
And I tell you what, I wasn't looking at horns, I was looking at the body going by me. This is the last day. This is my last chance to get a buck.
And this is like you hadn't killed any yet this year.
Yeah.
Here you go. There he goes up through here. Here's one. He's looking pretty good.
Oh, look at that blood. Was the arrow still in him, Tom? Or did it go through?
I didn't notice the arrow sticking out of him when he ran away, but
It should have come right out in the middle of his body on the other
He's
side.
picking up pretty good right here. He didn't go too far. Probably either went down, got a lung, or you got the liver, one or the other.
Yeah.
I would think. Here's where he stopped.
Yeah.
He stood right there.
See the bubbles in there?
It looks like he got a lung.
Yeah.
You know, he slowed down, though. That's what I don't understand. That arrow went all the way through him. He should be picking up.
There's blood.
Wow, drop him.
He must be out of blood.
He lost a lot of her, that's for sure.
Go back.
There's your deer.
What?
Right there, that stump.
Oh!
Man, he looked like he died running.
Man, look at that.
He did hit him right down the back, looked like.
Shot him right in the back. Told you.
Get over here and get a shot of this. Man, did he ever look like he piled up a dead run. He was boogieing, wasn't he?
I told you, right there is where I got him in the back running. Right there's where it came off.
I believe he did get the liver.
Yep.
He might have just nicked the lung and got the liver.
He folded up right here running.
He is a spike, too.
Yep.
Little spike horn.
So like I said, I thought this was going to be my last chance to get a shot at a buck this year. This is the last day. Poor me.
Yeah, poor you. It's like you hadn't killed one already this year, huh?
Oh, man.
Nice little buck. Some no good tenderloin there.
Yeah. Did you get that good on the running shot?
yep, I got
Well,
it good.
Get out the old knife, baby. Now's when the work begins.
Yeah, when they're little like this, it ain't a lot of work.
Well, here we are back in Dan's taxidermy studio. This is where most of these critters end up in the long run. This is a buck that Dan mounted for me. It's the best buck that I've ever taken, and we're going to use him for a demonstration. I would like to asked Dan to demonstrate the cuts, the proper cuts, that needs to be made if you're going to mount a buck, a shoulder mount or for a life-size mount. Dan is a master taxidermist, and as you can see from the trophies around this room here that he's mounted, he's not too shabby. He does a pretty good job, as well as some of these ribbons and trophies that he's got to kind of back up his credentials. But part of these animals, he killed them, and part of them are just animals that he's mounted for customers. But I think that a lot of people doesn't know the proper cuts to make when they're going to have a deer mounted. And a lot of times this might spoil the cape. So at this time I'd like to ask Dan to get over here and show us the proper cuts to make.
Well, is this a 100,000-mile deer?
That's him. He's got about 100,000 on him.
How often you give him a checkup?
Every 100,000.
Okay. Well, what I'd like to do, since you got this thing on a show cart, we'll turn it around so
All right,
people can see better what we do. What I'd like to do is just go over the best cuts to do a full shoulder mount on a deer.
That's the most popular.
Okay. Then we'll talk about doing a life size too. But what you should do is line the legs up straight down. Like this leg is forward, this is a walking pose. Get your legs straight down. Go approximately 6 inches behind that shoulder, making sure that you have enough cape to do a good job.
Right.
It's always better to have too much than not enough. So go 6 inches behind the shoulder approximately. Just put your knife in. Your deer is already gutted probably. So you just put your knife in the incision and just under the skin, go right up to the top of the deer, continue on down on the other side the same way, taking the deer off 6 inches behind the shoulder all the way around. Then you go from the same incision and right under the skin again, right against the meat, come up the back of the neck, stay in the center of the neck all the way up, right to a point 2 to 3 inches behind the antlers. And then you want to make a Y cut over to the antlers this way, and from the same point over to the antler this way. And then you can skin under this and you'll have a flap of skin here. You can raise that up, take a screwdriver, which you know as well as I do, a screwdriver is the best thing you can use, right? It'll pry it off just like prying a tire off of a wheel. Go right around the antler and pry that loose from the antler all the way around. Skin the front of the forehead down, go inside and cut the ear butts loose, which is the base of the ear canal. Cut that loose from the skull. Lay your ears out of the way, right at the base of the skull. Continue skinning on down the neck. And if you need to take the antlers off at that time, all you need to do is chisel around the antler, stay an inch or so away from the burrs, chisel the whole skull plate away, and you can lift that rack right out. The way we do it, we saw it out later after we skin the head out. But if you need to get the antlers off to get the thing in the freezer,
Or if you didn't have a saw, would work.
right. A rack this size doesn't fit in most freezers, so you'd have to chisel this out of here. And then you just go under the skin and continue skinning everything away just like you would skin any other animal. Cut the skin off at the top of the legs. Skin this entire thing out, skin the brisket out, which is the skin on the front of the chest. Take everything and lay it out of the way, and then all you got is the skin is away from the meat all the way up. You just take your knife and cut through the meat right to the neck bone. And then take an axe or a saw and chop that neck bone, and you can take the head right loose from the neck of the animal. And all you got is the cape attached to the face. And the best thing to do is take that part into the taxidermist and let him, finish it and prepare it. Because skinning the face out is a little more involved.
From the taxidermists that I've talked to, the most common mistake made by most hunters is that they don't leave enough neck skin.
That's true.
They think they're getting a neck mount, so they cut it off here.
Right.
And it doesn't give the taxidermist anything to work with. And that's their biggest gripe, the ones I've talked to. You need to leave that skin on there.
Well, we're talking about a deer right now, but on especially a caribou, you need to go in the middle of the body on a caribou, because a caribou's chest on the form is spread out, and it shortens up the skin when you got it on a spread out chest. It's always better to leave more than you need.
Right.
I mean, you're not really that concerned about this skin from there back. You should never concern yourself with that little piece of skin. You can always get a deer hide.
Usually
you can't get a cape.
Hide anyway.
Right.
And that would take care of the basic thing. If you're going to salt this down, I would suggest that you salt it and leave it out of the freezer. But if you're going to salt it, you should never put a salted cape in the freezer,
right,
because it won't completely freeze, and there's a good chance that it'll spoil in there.
Now, what about a life size, Dan? If they would want to have a deer mounted life size, tell us the proper cuts.
Okay, there's two things that I would suggest. If you're going to take it into a taxidermist, if you have that opportunity, let the taxidermist skin it out the way he prefers for a life size.
That'd be the best.
The way we did this one, we did a dorsal cut all the way down his back.
Right.
Because we were in a pinch on a hot day when you shot this one. We had to go all the way down the back of the deer, like this, to the top of the tail, open up all the skin and just keep taking the skin away from the animal, and just like taking a pair of pants off. Get it all the way down to the top of the feet, cut the leg bones off, the tailbone off, and don't try and skin the tail off, because most people will pull the tail and it'll ruin the mount. You're better off to let the taxidermist skin that tail out. So you got the head disconnected, the ankles are disconnected at the bone, and the tail's disconnected, and just take the whole thing and roll it up and put it in the freezer. That's the way that I like to do a life size. Now, if you gut the deer down the center of the belly, take it into the taxidermist and let him do the rest, because if he's going to skin it out for the bottom, you got to make incisions down all 4 legs on the inside and skin the whole thing out from the bottom, which you can do yourself. You can do that on a bear. If you're going to do a bear rug, that's what you have to do. Right. Skin inside the legs from your belly incision, just continue on down inside the legs and stay on the back of the leg, right down to the bottom of the leg bone, and just cut the bones off inside the skin. Right. Take the whole thing put it in the freezer until you're ready to take it to the taxidermist.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Dan, for sharing this knowledge with us. I'm sure that it's going to be a big benefit to a lot of people, especially new hunters that is not too experienced in this, and it just might save somebody from wrecking a good trophy. And we'd like to thank you for buying this video, and hope you enjoyed it. And we'll be seeing you around at some of the sports shows. If not, we'll see you in another video.
What does it take to be a successful wild turkey hunter? Patience, determination, and more patience? Do you have to be a great woodsman to get a bird? Or is it just plain luck that finally puts a bird in your sights? Successful turkey hunting does take a lot of patience, dedication, experience, and a little luck. Of course, you got to know what you're doing in the woods. But most important of all, you've got to know why you're doing it. When you know why something works, you can do things like figure out a new hunting situation, or solve a problem that's keeping you from getting a bird. For example, do you know why you'll find turkeys in some places and not others? That knowledge will help you scout for turkeys and find the best hunting sites. Do you know why camouflage is so important and why you have to be so quiet and still? You need that knowledge to get a bird in close enough for a clean harvest shot. Maybe you've picked up a few tips on calling turkeys, but do you know why calling works? How will you pick the right call when you go hunting? And why does planning a hunt make such a difference? By hunting with a strategy, you put the odds a little more in your favor. Knowing the whys, it's like filling out a formula for success. When you understand the wild turkey's environment, know how the bird behaves in that environment, and then put together a strategy to hunt him, you're going to be successful. In this program, Rob Keck will help you put together that formula for success. He's a master hunter of the wild turkey. His passion for wild turkey hunting began when he was a young boy and has grown to include being a world champion wild turkey caller and executive vice president of the National Wild Turkey Federation. In one short program, we can't teach you all the how-tos of turkey hunting, but we can show you a lot of the whys behind the sport. And when you understand the whys, all the how-tos will make a lot more sense. You'll be on your way to getting a wild turkey on purpose, not just by luck. Where's the best place to hunt wild turkeys? That's easy. It's where you find the most turkeys and the least amount of hunting pressure. But finding those places, that's the hard part. And that's why the environment factor in your formula for success is so important. You've got to know about the wild turkey's needs. Then you'll understand why you find turkeys in some places, but not others. When you scout, you need to know what to look for and listen for, and why some things you find are more important than others. In this program, we'll focus on the eastern wild turkey, but you can apply the formula for success to all subspecies of wild turkeys hunted in the United States. We'll also focus on spring scouting and hunting. The wild turkey is one of the few big game species that offers both fall and spring hunting seasons. For many hunters, there's nothing like the unique experience of hunting in the spring woods. When you're looking for turkeys to hunt, you can get a lot of good advice by just asking around. Talk to other hunters or salespeople in gun shops. Game wardens and state wild turkey biologists are usually glad to share what they know about turkey numbers and locations. And if you want to hunt private land, get out and talk to landowners. The landowner often knows a lot about the turkeys on his property. And, of course, you must get permission from the owner before scouting or hunting on private land. But to get the best information on turkey locations and movements, you've got to scout your hunting areas. Come along as Rob Keck does some springtime scouting for wild turkeys.
Successful turkey scouting requires educated ears and eyes, skilled map reading, and a good pair of boots. Since hearing a turkey confirms you're in the right area and guides you to where you should begin to scout for physical signs, you should learn to recognize turkey calls and listen all the time when you're in the woods. An educated ear means you can recognize turkey gobbling and calling when you hear it. Listen to these gobblers. Stand against a tree, get at ease, and face the area you think turkeys will gobble from. The tree may help you pick up reverberations of turkey sounds. You can cup your hands around your ears to pick up more sound. Be patient. Wait to hear gobbling. In the early morning, you may hear a gobbler on the roost. Later in the day, you may hear him gobbling as he looks for hens. Mark the locations of different gobbling birds on your map. Take a compass reading to make sure and note the location in reference to a major landmark. You want to scout as many areas with gobblers as possible.
Listening is the best way to determine if there are turkeys in your hunting area, but sometimes the birds aren't talking. Then you've got to use all the skills of a true woodsman to find turkeys. You've got to know how to move through the woods quietly and find your way around. You've got to know what to look for in the turkey's environment and understand what it means. Having an educated eye makes the difference between hunters who are successful and those who are just out for a walk in the woods. You need to know how to find good turkey habitat because that's where the most turkeys are likely to be most of the time. Good turkey habitat provides all the things that turkeys need for survival, like food, water, cover, and roost sites. The more you know about how turkeys meet their needs for survival, the better you'll be at finding good habitat. Rob takes you through one example, knowing what turkeys eat.
Wild turkeys eat a variety of foods. They eat what they can find and consume literally hundreds of different types of animal and vegetable matter. Food ranges from insects to grasses, small reptiles and amphibians like lizards and salamanders, to hard and soft mast like acorns and dogwood fruit. As wildlife biologist Lovett Williams has written, the wild turkey will attempt to eat almost anything slow enough to catch and small enough to swallow. Their preferences are based on availability and abundance, the season and the region.
Find good turkey habitat and concentrate your scouting in those areas. But good habitat's no guarantee you'll find turkeys. You have to use your educated eyes to look for turkey signs. Tracks can indicate the sex and number of turkeys in the area. Droppings tell you about the bird's diet and whether it's a gobbler or hen. Droppings below a tree help you identify a roost site. Scratchings show you feeding areas and direction of travel. Dustings are places where turkeys douse themselves in dust to reduce itching from parasites and molting feathers. Strut marks show you where a gobbler has been parading his presence before a flock of hens.
Successfully locating a site with lots of fresh sign will do you little good if you don't know the area well enough to find it again. Learn to read a topographical map and use a compass if you don't already know how. Topos tell you a lot about the terrain by showing the physical features of an area. A topo map will help you build a mental picture of your hunting area. The compass will help you orient yourself.
Signs tell you where the birds have been and where they could be again on the day you go hunting. But the best sign of all is actually spotting some of the big birds.
Spotting turkeys a long way off is tough. Train your eyes to detect any movement in a large area. From a distance, all you'll see are black dots. If they move, they may be turkeys. These birds are at about 300 yards. One of these birds is a gobbler. Can you tell which one? It's the bird that seems to get larger while you watch. He's going into a strut, and as he does, he gets larger.
You scout to build a detailed map of your hunting area. You want to know where the turkeys are going to be on the day you go hunting, and where the best places are to position yourself. You're doing everything you can to reduce your dependence on luck. And if you do it well, you'll have your turkey right where you want it. Wild turkeys are fascinating creatures to watch and study. Most successful hunters will say that the more you know about turkey behavior, the greater your chances of harvesting a bird. There are two types of turkey behavior you should definitely know about. You need to know how they detect and avoid danger. And how and why they call to each other. Understanding those two types of behavior will really make a difference in your hunting success. The wild turkey is a wary, elusive bird. His senses are always set on high to detect danger. Let Rob Keck tell you about the bird's senses.
The wild turkey's highly developed sense of sight, especially the ability to see movement, and its sense of hearing are its major defenses. It can see and hear acutely better than man. Many times, a turkey will see and hear a moving hunter long before the hunter can see the turkey.
The wild turkey quickly notices any movement. That's why you must be very still and try to move only when the bird is not looking at you. That's pretty hard to do because the turkey has a 220-degree field of view. He's constantly bobbing and turning his head for a better look. But even if you don't move, the wild turkey may notice little things, like the glint of light off a watch or a gun barrel. You should be camouflaged from head to toe, and so should your gun and all your other equipment. The turkey's hearing is extremely sharp. The turkey's also very good at picking out the direction a sound comes from. If you make noises that don't belong in the woods and the turkey hears you, he's going to know where you are. And he's probably not going to be coming in your direction.
you're hunting wild turkeys, you're in the turkey's domain. The bird can see and hear better than you, and that's why you don't stalk a wild turkey. Nature gave the bird that advantage. You have to gain the advantage by bringing the bird in front of your sights under conditions that you select.
That's the key to successful turkey hunting, bringing the bird to you. To bring a bird in, you talk turkey to him. But to do that properly, you've got to understand when and why the birds call to each other. In the fall, turkeys are gregarious. They call to find each other and then to keep the flock together. A common fall hunting technique is to scatter a flock of birds. After a while, they'll try to regroup. You start calling like one of the lost scattered birds. If you do it right, and you're in the right location, one or more of the other turkeys will come looking for you, so you can join the flock. Spring is the mating season, when the wild gobbler's call thunders through the woods. Let Rob Keck show you how to use the gobbler's behavior to your advantage.
The gobbler frequents open areas where he can display himself to attract hens. Longer days in spring trigger the wild turkey's mating instinct. The need to mate gets stronger as days get longer. Hormone levels go up and gobbling activity increases. A hen responds to the dominant gobbler's gobble and/or his display by coming to him. The birds may call to each other as they approach or meet silently. A dominant gobbler continues seeking more hens to mate as the season progresses. Eating is secondary to mating. In the spring, the need to mate is more important to the wild turkey than anything else. Dominant gobblers tend to roam farther to find more hens to mate as the season progresses. His regular hens are beginning to stay in the nest, incubating their eggs. Use this as part of your hunting strategy. You know he wants more hens. Convince him you're a hot hen and he'll come to you. That's what calling is for.
You've seen how to use the behavior factor in your formula for success. You know about the wild turkey's incredibly sharp hearing and vision. You know how to mask your presence in the woods with camouflage and just plain sitting still. You know that the key to bringing a bird into your gun is imitating the turkey's calls. You can't control that turkey's behavior, but by understanding it, you can definitely increase the odds he'll show up in your sights. When you watch an experienced hunter in action, it all seems so easy. Rob Keck is hunting wild turkeys in the fall. As an experienced, successful hunter, everything he does is part of a hunting strategy. He scouted the area thoroughly, so he knows the best places to find turkeys. He sets up in a position that's safe for him and effective for hunting turkeys. He's practiced his calls. He has a plan for what calls he's going to use, and he knows why they work. Everything he does is part of a plan, a strategy to reduce his dependence on luck. Sure, there's always a little luck involved in any kind of hunting. Sometimes a lot of luck. But a strategy helps you make your own luck. With a plan, you're ready for whatever comes along. The strategy factor in your formula for success consists of preparation and planning. You prepare yourself and your equipment for the challenges of hunting the wild turkey. And you plan out the hunt so you know where you're going to start, what you're going to do, and what alternatives you have if your first position doesn't work out. The most important part of preparation is knowing how to hunt safely. That means knowing and practicing the basics of firearm safety, like always pointing the muzzle in a safe direction, treating every gun as if it's loaded, unloading the gun when you're not hunting, and leaving the action open, and leaving the safety on until just before you're ready to shoot. When you're out hunting, be absolutely sure of your target before firing. In the spring, wait until you can see that gobbler's beard, and be aware of what's behind your target, too. Never fire at sound, movement, or a patch of color. It could be another hunter. And it's not enough to just be sure of your target. You must hunt defensively so that you don't become an accidental target. Being aware of sounds, movements, and colors, those are the keys to defensive hunting. You might consider wearing hunter orange whenever you're moving from one calling location to another. Some hunter safety experts also recommend wrapping your bird in blaze orange before you carry it out. Take your blaze orange off when you get into position, but then remain as still as possible. It's the best hunting technique, and you're less likely to draw the attention of another hunter. Never try to stalk a turkey or drive birds. Another hunter might see your movement and think it's a turkey. Make sure your camo covers you from head to toe. To another hunter, any uncovered portion of your body may appear to be part of a turkey. And never wear any red, white, blue, or black items into the turkey woods. Those are the colors your target wears in the spring. When you pick a hunting position, sit at the base of a tree that is wider than your shoulders. The tree will help conceal your movements and protect you from the rear. And remember, whenever you call like a turkey, other hunters may think you are a turkey. Gobbling, for example, can be extremely dangerous, especially in the spring. Finally, if you need to let another hunter know your position, shout loudly. Don't whistle or wave your arms because that could make you a target. We mentioned that target identification is a big part of hunting safely. You should prepare yourself to know what a turkey looks like, even when it's partially obscured. Could you clearly identify a gobbler? A hen? You should know how to identify turkeys in all seasons, but especially in the spring, when you can take bearded turkeys, gobblers only.
Wild turkey identification is one of the most critical judgments you'll have to make. You have to be able to identify your bird under any hunting conditions to be a responsible hunter and sportsman. Sometimes you'll hear a turkey first. Other times a bird will appear without making a sound. You have to be able to determine the sex of that bird before you shoot. More often than not, you'll have a partial or restricted view.
Learn to identify turkeys by studying birds in the wild and viewing programs like this one and others in the 3M Mastery Series on wild turkey hunting. As you study turkeys to identify them, listen closely to their calls. That will help you improve your own calling skills. Wildlife biologists have identified over 24 different calls that turkeys make. But you need to know only a couple of calls to hunt turkeys in most situations. Listen as Rob Keck demonstrates the basic yelp and cluck.
This is a plain yelp on a caller. The plain yelp often consists of 5 to 10 notes, but more or less may be heard. It's often used to assemble turkeys when they've been separated while feeding. It may also be heard when the birds are still on the roost or flying down. You can use the plain yelp to bring a bird to your position. Here's a series of yelps in the woods. Note the rhythm of the yelping. The other basic call to know for success is the cluck. The cluck consists of one or more short staccato notes. It is one of the variety of single syllable or single note calls. The plain cluck many times includes 2 or 3 distinct single note clucks. No one knows for sure what it means, but it is used by one turkey to get the attention of another, according to Lovett Williams. Oftentimes you'll hear it as the birds are feeding or moving through the woods. Think of it as flock talk among the birds. You can use it to locate turkeys and to calm down a gobbler coming into your calling in the spring. It reassures the gobbler that the hen he's coming to is still there and waiting. Many hunters blame problems on bad calling. More often the problem is movement, noise, or poor positioning. I've hunted all over the country in lots of different conditions and situations. I use the basics more often than anything else when I'm calling birds.
You've scouted your hunting area. You feel you've got a good handle on what the wild turkeys are doing. You've prepared yourself to hunt safely and effectively. Now, how do you put it all together? That's where planning comes in. You start with a hunting plan that gives you the best shot at getting a turkey. Then you think about alternatives. What will you do if your first position doesn't work? What if conditions change? What will you do then? For example, one of the best plans for spring hunting is to roost a gobbler. The evening before you go hunting, you try to find a gobbler that's flown up to his roost for the night. An owl hoot or crow call will usually get him to gobble. Then you know exactly where he is. The next morning, before your gobbler flies down, you've got to be in position about 150 yards away from his roost. That gobbler's going to be looking for a hen the minute he wakes up, and you want to be the first hen he gets excited about. Roosting a gobbler may be your best plan, but it's no guarantee that you'll get a bird. Your gobbler might find a real hen. He might be spooked by another hunter. He might get hung up by some heavy brush or another obstacle. So, you've got to have alternative plans. You may choose to stay put and keep calling, aggressively at times. Remind that gobbler that you're still there. Or, you could have an alternative hunting site in mind, a place where you've seen hens feeding or found evidence of gobblers strutting. When you've got some good alternatives, the odds are much better that you'll bring home a bird. In this program, we've just touched on the essentials of wild turkey hunting. To be successful, you need more detailed knowledge, more specific skills. But now you know what's important and why you need to know it. With the formula for success as your guide, knowing the turkey's environment, understanding his behavior, and coming up with hunting strategies, you can put yourself right here, right where every wild turkey hunter wants to be. Would you like to know how to find the best areas for hunting wild turkeys? Do you want to know how you can hunt wild turkeys more successfully by understanding their behavior? Are you excited by the idea of putting together a hunting plan? A plan that puts you in the right position at the right time? With the right calls to bring a bird in to your gun. The 3M Mastery Series on wild turkey hunting lets you experience the excitement of this great American hunt. You'll learn the whys and how-tos of successful turkey hunting. And you'll avoid the frustration of depending on pure luck to get you a bird. Understanding the wild turkey gives you an in-depth, close-up look at these magnificent birds. Master wild turkey hunter Rob Keck takes you into the turkey's world. You'll learn why some areas are prime turkey habitat. You'll see the wild turkey's daily and seasonal behaviors and learn what those behaviors mean to your hunting success. You'll discover what it takes to avoid the keen senses of that gobbler you're after. Then Rob Keck shows you how to find and call the wild turkey. You'll get Rob's expert advice on the 2 or 3 calls you need to know. And you'll hike right along with Rob as he systematically scouts the spring woods, looking and listening for turkeys and turkey signs. You'll learn how to find signs, and more important, how to read those signs to understand what they really mean. You'll see how all the information you collect while scouting can be put into a detailed hunting plan, a plan that puts you in the right position on opening day. You'll put it all together as you go successful spring turkey hunting. Rob Keck takes you along on 3 different hunts, showing you how to develop a hunting plan, pick your best position, and move to an alternative position when necessary. You'll learn the finer details of positioning yourself and setting up for the best shot. Rob covers several different calling strategies that will bring a gobbler within range of your gun. Finally, you'll be at Rob's shoulder as he calls a really big gobbler closer and closer. The Wild Turkey Hunting Mastery Series from 3M Leisure Time Products. It's one of the quickest, easiest, and most exciting ways to make you a successful wild turkey hunter.